Okay, boys and girls, let's practice using stem and leaf plots. For numbers 1 and 2, we're going to use this one titled Points Scored. Our first step is to look at the key so we know what the stem and the leaf represent. This key tells us if there's a 1 in the stem and a 2 in the leaf, the number is 12. That means that the stem represents the tens place and the leaf represents the ones place, just like in our regular place value charts. Number 1 is asking us to identify the least number of points scored. To do this, first we're going to locate the least stem. Since they're listed in order from least to greatest, it's easy to see that 1 is the least. Once we identified the least stem, we know that we're only going to focus on these digits that are in a straight line with the 1 as a stem. Now we're going to look for the least leaf. Well, they're also listed in order from least to greatest, so the least would be 2. Since we have a 1 as our stem and a 2 as our leaf, the least number of points scored is 12. Now let's switch colors and we'll look for the greatest number. Let me erase this so we won't get confused and switch my color to blue. Okay. The greatest number. All right. Now we're going to go down the stem and look for the greatest stem. The greatest stem is 4. Since we identified the greatest stem, we know that we're only going to focus on the leaves that are in line with that stem. We have a 3 and a 5. Well, 5 is greater. So the greatest number of points scored is 45. Now let's look at the number of miles Kim swam each workout. Remember our first step, we have to look at the key. This key says if there's a 0 in the stem and a 5 in the leaf, the number is 5/10. Now we know that the stem represents the ones place and the leaf represents the tenths. That means that these are decimal numbers. We're going to use this information to help us answer the question. Well, it says, in another example above, how many times did Kim swim 1 mile as her workout? 1 mile is not written as a decimal. As a decimal, 1 mile can be written as 1 and 0/10. So I'm going to look for all of the 1 and 0/10 that are listed on our stem and leaf plot. 1 has to be our stem or the ones place, and I found it right here. So that means I'm only going to focus on the leaves that are in line with the 1. All right, let me put a decimal here so it's easy for us to see. This is 1 and these are your tenths. The leaves represent the tenths. So I'm looking for the number of times that Kim swam exactly 1 mile or 1 and 0/10 miles. So I'm going to count all of the leaves that are a 0, and I found 2 of them. This tells me that Kim swam 1 mile as her workout 2 times. Well, okay. I hope this helps you as you complete your independent practice on the next slide.